You weren't weak, you were targeted. There is a system, running right now, on every platform you use, specifically engineered to exploit the most sensitive minds of this generation. And if you're watching Psyche Decoded, there's a very good chance you're one of them. We call this trait the Sentinel gift. Over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how it's being stolen, and give you the 3-step protocol to take it back. To understand the hijack, you first need to understand your hardware. The human brain has a built-in negativity bias. Evolution favored those who overreacted to a rustle in the grass. The optimists, they were eaten. For a sentinel, your amygdala, the brain's smoke detector, is naturally hyper-reactive. You were the tribal early warning system. You smelled the fire before anyone else. But here's the critical design spec that people always overlook. In nature, real threats are rare. A lion doesn't stalk the village every 5 minutes. Your radar was built to run in power save mode 90% of the time, activating hard when needed, then going quiet. It is a precision instrument, not a fire hose. So what happens when someone deliberately floods that precision instrument with 1,000 false alarms every single day? The algorithm doesn't care about your mental health. It cares about one number, watch time. And to maximize that number, it found a brutal shortcut. Hijack your survival instinct. This is doomscrolling, and it is not an accident. It is a feature. The algorithm uses behavioral data to learn exactly which narrative stings you the most. Is it fear of being replaced at work? Your peers' success making you feel behind? Moral outrage at injustice? Every piece of content it surfaces is screaming the same message at your sentinel radar. Look here, danger. You cannot look away. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real survival threat and algorithmic noise. It responds to both identically, flooding your body with cortisol, locking your attention, burning your energy. Your evolutionary hardware is being run at maximum clock speed, continuously, with no cooldown. That is why 10 minutes of scrolling leaves you more exhausted than an 8-hour workday. This state of constant hyper-alertness produces a measurable psychological effect called cognitive tunneling. When your threat system is overloaded, your brain physically narrows its focus. You lose the ability to think long-term. Complex planning becomes impossible. You can't hold a nuanced perspective. You can only react to whatever is directly in front of you. You've felt this. It's the reason you sit down to work and can't start. The reason a conversation with someone you love ends in friction for no clear reason. The reason you feel mentally foggy even after a full night's sleep. This isn't a character flaw. This is a system running out of RAM. And the cruelest part? The more naturally perceptive you are, the more aggressively the algorithm targets you, because your reactions are more reliable engagement signals. The system exploiting you is learning from you in real time. But that also means we can exploit it back, because this is a hack, and every hack has a defense protocol. Since this is a hack, we need to upgrade your firewall. 3 protocols. Protocol 1. Label the intrusion. Next time scrolling anxiety hits, stop and say this to yourself. This is not my crisis. This is an algorithm harvesting my cortisol. You're naming it as an external intrusion, not an internal failure. The moment you label it accurately, your prefrontal cortex re-engages. The tunnel begins to widen. It takes about 10 seconds, and it works every time. Protocol 2. The grayscale strategy. Go to your phone settings and switch the display to black and white. The first time you do this, something surprising happens. The feed becomes boring. Not less informative, just boring. Because color is a primary lever the algorithm uses to trigger dopamine responses. Remove the color, and you've pulled the lever out of its hand. Most people find their screen time drops 30 to 40% within a week without any willpower required. Protocol 3. Physical anchors. When cognitive tunneling has set in, no amount of thinking will break it. Your body has to intervene. Do something with real physical feedback. A 10-minute walk, cooking a meal, pulling weeds in a pot on your balcony. Real sensory input is the only signal that tells your nervous system, the threat is gone, stand down. Digital content cannot send that signal. Only physical reality can. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a precision instrument. The most sophisticated threat detection hardware in the room. The algorithm wants to overclock it until it breaks. Because a burned-out sentinel is no threat to anyone. Protect your radar. Keep it calibrated. Because the same trait that makes you vulnerable to the feed is the identical trait that, when properly channeled, lets you read people, situations, and power dynamics that others miss entirely. That is the other side of this gift. And that is where we're going next. In episode 3, we're going to flip the entire framework. We're going to take this overloaded sensitivity and turn it into your most precise social and strategic advantage. What I call the Sentinel's mind-reading protocol. The ability to see what others can't, without being destroyed by what you feel. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe to Psyche Decoded and hit the bell. And leave me a comment. What was the last piece of content that hijacked your radar today? Be specific. I read every single one. I'm Ask Studio. Let's decode the world together.